was so many brothers, the neighbors didn't stand a chance. From the wrong part of town, we didn't know.
So, Chris, I'm wondering if there are local examples of kind of what Sean talked about, of states or local governments kind of figuring this out, figuring out how to build this housing in center cities that isn't just for rich people.
Yeah, I think there are some good examples. I think it's not happening at a scale it needs to happen. And I think Sean touched on, fundamentally a lot of it starts with land use issues. There is this fundamental disjoint with the fact that the area where these decisions are being made, people have a veto power, and they see the negative consequences of higher density development in terms of parking or other factors that leads them to say no, but somebody needs to take a broader regional perspective. And so I think certainly a lot has to happen at the local level. I think states really need to take a lead role in forcing localities to step up and take on their responsibility to free up the process of developing more housing. Along those lines, I think there are nascent efforts to create upzoning, higher density, as of right along transit corridors. It's politically challenging, but I think there are places where you're seeing that start to happen. And that's fundamentally expanding the supply and making it easier to expand the supply is important. There's smaller scale, but also important things such as accessory dwelling units. So allowing for the development of either units within an existing building or accessory structures on sites that will allow for infill development in places where it's otherwise hard to get density, but people are already living. And I think there's a lot of localities that are finding ways to encourage that, both through making it legally possible to do that, creating standardized designs that kind of bring down the cost of it, doing things like reducing permitting costs and the like. And so, while it may be a niche, I think it's an important niche. And a lot of this, I'd have to say, is that there's not one answer. So it's going to have to be, a both-end answer. And so it's how do we do upzoning? How do we allow ADUs? A lot of talk about micro units. It may be that the really small units are kind of a niche, but I think the general idea of saying allowing for smaller size units, allowing for less parking requirements, and looking at things that add to the development costs, all those things have to be done. So I think there's a whole bucket of things that have to do with land use.
I was raised with all brothers among so many others. This world doesn't stand a chance. From the center of town, the sum of these friends is all we ever had. Some are heroes, others are voices, some are comedians. Some could win your heart, the others will break your nose. All the years in this old town